The term necrosis is defined as a localized area of tissue followed by degradation of tissue by hydrolytic enzymes released from dead cells, and necrosis also elicits an inflammatory reaction and is always an indication of a pathologic process. The various causes due to which this necrosis can occur are hypoxia, chemical and physical agents, microbial agents, immunological injury, etc. Both cytoplasmic as well as nuclear changes occurs in necrosis. Cytoplasm becomes more eosinophilic and the nuclear changes are pycnosis, that is the nucleus is shrunken, then the pycnotic nucleus is fragmented and the process is known as karyohexis, and then ultimately the fragmented nuclear particles disappear by undergoing a process known as karyolysis, so ultimately and eventually the necrotic cells become anuclear. Based on etiology and morphologic appearance, there are 5 types of necrosis: coagulative, liquefactive, caseous, fat and fibrinoid necrosis. Firstly, the coagulative necrosis or ischemic necrosis. This is the most common type of necrosis in which the underlying tissue architecture is preserved for at least few days. Caused due to sudden cessation of blood flow, so the name ischemic necrosis, commonly affects heart, kidney and spleen. Grossly speaking, the area of necrosis in the early stage is pale, filmed and slightly swollen, which is known as infarct, and the coagulative necrosis is the characteristic of infarcts. Then later the area becomes more yellowish, softer and shrunken. Microscopically speaking, as previously discussed, outlines of necrotic cells are retained but cytoplasmic and nuclear details are lost. Coagulative necrosis can occur in all the solid organs except brain. Moving on to the liquefactive or colliquative necrosis, this one is characterized by digestion of dead cell and destruction of tissue architecture and transformation of the tissue into a liquid viscous mass. Usually occurs due to hypoxia, bacterial or fungal infections, but hydrolytic enzymes in tissue degradation have a dominant role in causing semi-fluid material. This necrosis occurs in infarct, brain and abscess cavity. Grossly speaking, the affected area is soft with liquefied center containing necrotic debris. Later a cyst wall is formed. Microscopically, the cystic space contains necrotic cell debris and macrophages. Cell digestion and liquefaction occurs. One more important point to remember with this necrosis is the infarct brain evokes liquefactive necrosis rather than coagulative necrosis. Moving on to the next type of necrosis, which is the caseous necrosis. It literally means cheese-like, referring to the friable yellow-white appearance of the area of necrosis on gross examination. Most often encountered in foci of tuberculous infections, occurs mostly in lungs, lymph nodes and intestines. It combines features of both coagulative and liquefactive necrosis. Gross appearance is dry, yellow, cheesy and granular. This appearance is partly attributed to the histotoxic effects of lipopolysaccharides present in the capsule of the tubercle bacilli. Microscopic features are: caseous necrosis is often surrounded by a collection of macrophages and other inflammatory cells. This appearance is characteristic of a nodular inflammatory lesion called a granuloma. Next type of necrosis is fat necrosis. Occurs mainly at fat-rich anatomic locations in the body, that is in breast and even in the case of acute pancreatitis. In case of acute pancreatitis, there is liberation of pancreatic lipases from the injured or inflamed tissue that results in necrosis of the pancreas. So in the fat depots throughout the peritoneal cavity. There is hydrolysis and rupture of adipocytes which releases free fatty acids which combines with calcium to form calcium soaps to produce the characteristic chalky white areas on gross examination. Microscopically, the necrotic area contains cloudy outlines of necrotic fat cells surrounded by basophilic calcium deposits and an inflammatory reaction. Next is fibrinoid necrosis. This is a special form of necrosis which involves immune reactions. It is characterized by deposition of fibrin-like material and is encountered in various examples of immunologic tissue injury. For example, in autoimmune vasculitis, autoimmune diseases, Arthur's reaction, in polyarthritis nodosa, etc. It may also occur in severe hypertension and in peptic ulcer. Microscopically, it is brightly eosinophilic, halide-like deposition in the vessel wall which is surrounded by the necrotic debris, and the rupture of the blood vessel causes local hemorrhage in this type of necrosis. To finish, there is a clinical point to be remembered. Due to leakage of proteins through the damaged cell membranes and ultimately into the circulation, provides a means of detecting tissue-specific necrosis using blood or serum samples. For example, cardiac muscle contains a unique isoform of the enzyme creatine kinase and of the contractile protein troponin, whereas hepatic bile duct epithelium contains the enzyme alkaline phosphatase and hepatocytes contain transaminases. Irreversible injury and cell death in these tissues elevate the serum levels of these proteins, which makes them clinically useful markers of tissue damage.